Good morning and welcome back to It's a Great Day for Business Atlanta. This is a very important segment. This is the Spotlight segment where a member has an opportunity to explain to everyone exactly what they do and what their passion is. And this particular piece is brought to you by PDB Group Venture. And this morning we have the luxury of meeting with Jim Foster. And Jim is a very special coach. We've heard coaches of all different kinds taking the kids for soccer and football, but Jim has a very, very special kind of coaching ability, and it's surrounding the idea of strategy, which is very important. Jim, good morning. How are you? Nice to meet you.
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Well, the idea of strategic, you know, I guess when you go Christmas shopping for kids' toys, the last thing on the shelf you would buy would be Milton Bradley's Stratego. You'd probably get Candyland. And so when you give your kid the strategic game, you want them to think in a different way. And so as an adult, perhaps in business, being strategic is probably very important. How do you help folks strategically?
Absolutely. Most things that appears to be easy really has a strategy behind it. You know, I don't think anything good happens by accident. And so when it comes on to business, success in business does not happen by accident. There has to be strategies in place. And there are specific strategies that business owners must employ in order to achieve that success.
So I think planning is very, very important. And sometimes planning may not necessarily yield the result one expects. And so there has to be contingency planning at the same time.
Absolutely. When in coaching individuals, there are three elements that is very, very important to assure success. The first thing a person going in business needs to have is love for what they do. You see, when you're in business, there are times when you're going to feel like, well, why am I doing this? It is the love and the passion for what you do that gets you going through. And that passion, that love comes through, and it keeps you going. But then the other thing it does is motivate and attracts people to you for your business to grow. But there is a third element that has to be embodied. All successful people have given up something. There's some kind of a sacrifice that they have to give up in order to devote their time to learning, understanding, and focusing on their business so that it grows successfully.
Well, passion is very, very important, and that usually is driving someone. And passion also requires planning and structure in some way. And I think when we talked about structure earlier off camera, we talked about a number of things, and one of them was the idea of getting to the point where you want to be in business. And some people may think that perhaps is a straight line, but it really isn't, is it?
No, absolutely not. And that's a good point you raised, because having been in business, and I've retired after almost 40 years, and one of the things that I've always seen in my mind was getting to the top of a mountain. Now, when you're going to get to the top of a mountain, there are hazards that you will be faced with. It could be a tree that has fallen across the road, boulders that have come down, the road is broken away, but you've got to find a way to get around it, either by going around it, by going over it, or going under it, or pushing it out of the way. That passion, that persistence and perseverance, along with a plan, which has to change according to the circumstances, because nothing is guaranteed. In fact, it reminds me, I was looking at a video recently with Steve Jobs, and an incredible man. But one of the most outstanding things about what he said was connecting the dots. Now, you know, you will have a plan to go someplace, but you will not necessarily get there with the plan that you had, because things are going to change. But it is when you look back, then that's when the dots get connected, And you find that because you have that plan in place, but you're you're flexible, then you will meet whatever challenge comes along, and they will come along. And that gets you there by your persisting, persevering, and always focusing.
That's a very, very good explanation of it all, because it's not a straight line. Maybe the distance between each of those very close points are a straight line, but if they happen to zigzag, that'll get you to the goal that you're after.
So you take a zigzag pattern, but you eventually get to the goal because, you know, you've got to keep focus on that.
Very good. And so you are in the passion business of helping other folks to be able to visualize and understand and see that, because that's kind of a unique thing. And so when you get together with someone, you're actually going to help them with that kind of planning and being able to assimilate that so they can understand it and move forward.
Well, let me just share, when I got out of college, I'm by profession an engineer, but I worked as an engineer for 3 months because I found that I didn't like engineering once I started doing it. And something happened that changed my life forever. At 21, I saw a young man dressed very nicely, driving a brand new car, got out of his car, went into the building to conduct business. I was intrigued. I got down from the 20 floors I was, and I lay waiting him to find out, hey, I peppered him with questions. Hey, what do you do? How is it that you're driving this nice car? You're looking so great and stuff like that. I discovered 2 things. Number one, he was a salesman, a salesperson. As such, he had control of his time, his life, and himself. The second thing was that he got paid on commissions. So he wrote his own paycheck. Well, that stuck in the back of my mind. And then I had a situation where I got passed over for promotion on that job, which I didn't like anyway. And because it was in favor of another fellow who didn't even go to college, but his claim to fame was he was the son of the boss's friend. I made a commitment at that time. I never want to be in a position where my advancement, my progress, my success depends on whether my boss likes me or not. Let it be on my own performance. So I developed that passion because I went looking for a sales job, and the first thing that came along was, guess what? Insurance. And I was given a territory that was the worst territory in Kingston, Jamaica. But then I found this was something that I love, because now I'm working with people. I could interact, I could share, and I could help them. And so throughout my life, I have embodied that kind of aspect. So today, as a coach and a mentor, I work with the SBA, the school mentor. And so when individuals come in, I share with them the story of what I really do. If you can picture Bill, who had a passion to go in his own business, and he saved his money and got as much money as he could borrow from his family to start his business of his dream. Well, 6 months later, the business went belly up, and he went bankrupt. I tried to find the Bills of the world before that and help them on the path to success, turning their dreams to reality.
And that's a very good thing to be passionate about. That's terrific. So in order to get in contact with you, which I'm sure people that are watching right now would love to do, because they can see your own passion and your passion to help others, which is very, very important, where would they reach you?
There are 2 areas, and I'll just share one of them. The $1,000,000pathtowealth.com. That's a website that will get you directly and share what things that I share within the videos, in addition to providing a path to a successful business track. But I would also like to share the fact that we are promoting the Home-Based Business Expo. This is an event that is coming up in Atlanta in August, the 4th of August. And the purpose and objective is to assist business owners and home-based business owners to gain exposure, to meet people, and to promote themselves. My business partner is Gary Cross, who is the founder of the Home-Based Business Chamber of Commerce. and myself have put that together. So we are having that event, and there is a website for that, which is the shbbexpo.com.
Okay, great. And telephone number and email address to find you.
Telephone number will be 404-288-6500. And my email address is jimafoster@gmail.com.
Terrific. And so I think the expo would be a great place for someone to do some research, find out how to get a ticket. And do you know what the ticket prices are, or is it complimentary to enter?
We are expecting 2,000 in attendance. The ticket is $10, and for exhibitors, it ranges from $150 to $350 for the exhibitors to participate.
For booth space, which
yes,
would be very, very useful for a lot of entrepreneurs that perhaps are watching It's a Great Day Business Atlanta.
Absolutely, and we are expecting to be a great event. I mean, there's a great program that will be put on that business owners will get to participate in, and the spectators will benefit from tremendously.
Now, where can you be reached at SCORE? Is it Kennesaw?
Actually, I'm in the Rockdale office in Conyers, and just getting on the SCORE website and setting up for an appointment for Conyers will get you to me also.
Terrific. So if you head to the SCORE website and look for Jim Foster, you'll find him there, and certainly look up the expo. I think that would be a great thing to do. And thank you so much for coming in. It was wonderful, and connecting the dots is really what life is all about. And I guess it's better to do that, on the way than having it be hindsight, because it makes life a little bit easier, I think. Thank you, Jim.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.